being silly given you're being recorded now, team. So as a route card, we've got a few features up there that we need to put in. Coordinates. We've already looked at that. So our coordinates are quite simply our start point. So if I look at a map here and I go, okay, where's our campground? We've done this before. We know our campground is down here. And what I'd write in there is my start coordinate. So in this case, it's 224, and then I come up the axis, 625. So quite simply, for my first point, that tells me my coordinate where I start. My end coordinate is going to be the end point of that first section. Now, the long walk we do on the second day of this camp ends up being a 14-kilometre walk. So how many check-in points do you think we're going to want along the way? 2. So if we go 2, 1 at the beginning, and what, 8 k's in? 8 k's is a long way to walk in the wrong direction. So you don't want to go any better than that? 14. So every kilometre we've got to stop and take a checkpoint? It's a lot of work. So what we need to do is we need to make this juggling act happen, balance it out. So 2, yeah, we could walk 8 k's in the wrong direction. 1, we could be stopping every 10 minutes when we don't need to. What we would quite simply do is look at our trail that we'd be walking and go, what's the next main feature? Now I'm going to help you out with this first one, because I'll give you the maps in just a moment. The first main feature I can see along that trail is the parking and picnic area. Now, since that's the main feature, what am I going to write down here? Parking and picnic area. So in other words, feature is what I'm aiming for. What do you think a parking and picnic area is going to look like in the real world? Thanks, host. Big shelter or something. What else are we going to be looking for?
Flat, empty plot where there's
Okay.
cars.
Flat, maybe dirt, gravel, maybe a few cars, picnic area, shelter, table, maybe a barbecue. So that gives us an idea of what we'd actually be aiming for. All right? So that's a fair start. What I then want to do is calculate, well, where's that end point of that? So that parking and picnic area, I'd be saying is 229, 229, and then I'd be going, 624. Now, what I then need to do is calculate the distance in between those two. So all this is giving me all the information I need to know that if I wanted to go out there and walk it, I could quite simply do it. Now, how do I measure distance? We did this the other day, didn't we? What did I say? So, if I'm going in between the two, if it's a nice straight line, I can easily just go bang, bang, and then what do I do with that? Put it down on my map, and I can see, oh, beautiful. That's about 800 metres. So I then go distance, 800 metres, and then my last line is going to be time. So how long do you think it would take you to walk 800 metres? Who's got a guess? 5, 6 minutes, probably not a bad one. How long does it take you to run 800 metres on sports day? 2.5, 3 minutes. So to walk it might be about 6, 8 minutes. But what we also need to take into consideration is all these brown squiggly little lines. What are these brown squiggly little lines on the map? Anyone know what they are actually called? Hey, they are certainly contour lines. And do you want to be brave enough to have another go at what these contour lines actually mean? Yeah, it's talking height above sea level. So when we've got all these lines that go like that, and then there's a number in the middle of that line, quite simply that means it's 50 metres above sea level. So if Mr. Driver was walking from that point to that point, what does it actually mean I'm doing? Yeah, because I'm going from 40, 30, 20, so I'm going from 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 metres. So I'm actually going uphill. And what does the distance in between those lines actually mean? Well, to answer that question, what if the lines look like this?
It's a really steep slope
Why do you say that?
because the lines are really close together, meaning there's less distance between them.
It's a wonderful explanation. So the fact that there's less distance between those numbers going up means you basically got a steep cliff. Conversely, if I spread those lines out, it means there's a lot of distance between those lines going up. So if we were to look at these three hills side on, one would probably look like a steep cliff, that one would look like a flat plain, and that one would look somewhere in between the two. So when we look at these maps and we go to calculate time, what's something else we have to look at? The contour lines. And are we going up? Are we going down? Because that's going to factor in our time. Now, along this first leg, all right, it's actually quite flat. So what I might put here, notes, flat, walking trail. Because when you get your maps, you'll be able to see that that is in fact on there. So I've got that, beautiful time. We're going to calculate it was 8 minutes. And I've got one last thing to do. Take a bearing. Now we walked a bearing the other day, but now we've got to calculate one for ourselves. And this is what we need to be able to do. Right. You can see my blue X's on there. Let's say there are 2 points. So that's my first point, that's my second point. Just imagine that that is the case. I line up the edge of my compass. Right. Simply I line up the edge of my compass, put the direction of travel arrow in the direction I want to go, and then I spin that round so that north matches up with north on the map. So where is north? Down here. So north matches up with north on the map, and what's my bearing?
About 50 degrees.
I read it there, and it's about 50 degrees. So if I take it off with a bearing of 50, I then do what we did on Thursday, and I would have a bearing. All right? So in other words, I put 50 degrees in, and that is my first point in. How many of them am I going to do? I'm probably going to do as many as the features tell me to do. So when you come to a prominent feature, a turn in the trail maybe, not a turn, but an actual junction, maybe a sheltering tank, maybe a campsite, maybe a car park, these prominent features to ensure we don't get lost. Looking at that first point, what's the most I can walk without getting lost, or before I get lost? 800 metres or 8 minutes. So if I've been walking for 15 minutes, what am I probably going to do? I've been walking for 15 minutes, what am I going to do?
Probably check the map and the compass to make sure you're doing the right thing.
Either that or I'm going to turn around, because chances are I'm lost. But I'm only lost 15 minutes away. Whereas our original thought was, I might be lost 8 k's away, which is not good. Right? So that's the whole point of our route card. It's designed to ensure we don't get lost. Does that make some sort of sense? Beautiful. Because that's where we're going to get started today.